When you picture a day trader, you probably picture this dark room, right? A wall of monitors, just a dozen charts flashing red and green like some highly stressful Christmas tree.
Yeah, that is definitely the classic image.
Right. And for a long time, the assumption in retail trading was pretty much exactly that. I mean, to be successful, you needed that complex, intimidating cockpit.
You really did. You had to have the heavy setup.
Exactly. But today, we're looking at this massive shift in how financial technology actually operates. We are looking at a platform that says, you don't need the cockpit at all. You really just need a browser.
Which is a huge structural change.
It's massive. So welcome to today's deep dive. It is Thursday, May 14th, 2026. And our mission today is to cut through the absolute noise of the online broker space. We're looking at the Wall Street titan, Exness, going up against this very streamlined newcomer, Riverquode.
And honestly, it really is the perfect time to have this discussion because, the retail trading landscape has just fragmented entirely over the last few years.
Yeah, it's not even the same game anymore.
It's really not. We are no longer just comparing which broker has a better mobile app. We're comparing fundamentally different philosophies on how you, as a trader, should actually interact with the global markets.
Okay, let's unpack this. But before we break down the mechanics of these platforms, I know we have to establish some crucial guardrails.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. This is so important. This deep dive is strictly for informational purposes, all right? It is not financial advice.
Right.
We're discussing the trading of CFD's contracts for difference and highly leveraged products. And these instruments carry a severe level of risk. Depending on the environment, your losses can actually exceed your initial deposits. You are navigating highly volatile waters here.
Yeah, let's actually pause right there for a second, because I feel like we throw terms like CFD and leverage around a lot in this space.
So you do, yeah.
And if we are going to compare how Exness and Riverquode handle these things, we really need to know what they are. So when someone trades a CFD on one of these platforms, what exactly is happening behind the screen?
Well, that is the foundation of everything we'll talk about today. Yeah. When you trade a CFD, you are not buying the underlying asset.
Okay.
So if you trade a gold CFD on Exness, you aren't getting a physical bar of gold shipped to your house.
Right. No armored truck pulling up.
Exactly. And you don't own shares in a gold mine either. You're simply entering into a digital contract with the broker to exchange the difference in the price of gold from the moment you open the trade to the moment you close it.
Got it. So I guess the direction right, the broker pays me the difference.
Yep. And if you guess wrong, you pay the broker.
Wow. Okay. So it's basically a vehicle for pure price speculation, and then leverage is what magnifies that speculation.
Precisely. It is a financial amplifier.
Right. You're basically borrowing capital from the broker.
Yeah.
Right. So you can control a much larger position than you could with just your own cash.
That's it, exactly. If you have $10 and you use 10-to-1 leverage, you are controlling $100 worth of market.
Yeah.
It amplifies your wins, but crucially, it amplifies your losses at the exact same rate.
Which is terrifying if you don't know what you're doing.
It can be.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why the environment you choose to trade in, the platform, the broker, the safety nets, is so incredibly critical.
Right, which brings us directly to our two contenders today. Let's look at the actual companies you're trusting with that capital. First, we have Exness.
The heavyweight.
Yeah, absolute veteran in the broker space. They're globally recognized, headquartered in Limassol, Cyprus, and they've built this empire based on massive scale, international reach, and just extreme flexibility.
Yeah, they are everywhere.
But then in the other corner, you have Riverquode, and they are operated by Vista FX Proprietary Limited. Much newer broker, and their entire operational focus is built around simplicity, accessibility, and education.
Yeah, the contrast in their corporate footprints is immediate, and, it completely dictates how they handle the ultimate rulebook of trading, which is regulation.
Okay, let's get into the rules of the game.
So Exness operates with this broad, multi-jurisdictional regulatory coverage. They answer to the FCA. That's the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK.
Which is notorious.
Oh, one of the strictest watchdogs on the planet. They're also overseen by CySEC in Cyprus and the FSCA in South Africa.
Okay, so they've got badges from all over the world.
Exactly. But Riverquode takes a much more localized approach. They're regulated specifically by the FSCA in South Africa, operating under license number 52830.
Okay, I have to jump in here. Because when I am sitting at my laptop, staring at a chart, making a trade, It all feels completely borderless.
Right. It feels like it's just you and the internet.
Exactly. Why should a trader actually care about a specific license number or, whether a broker is answering to watchdogs in Cyprus versus South Africa?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, regulation is really the invisible architecture of your financial safety.
The invisible architecture. I like that.
Because without it, you are essentially wiring your money to a black box. You have no idea what they're doing with it. The FCA, CySEC, the FSCA, these aren't just fancy acronyms to put on a website. They are the legal frameworks that force a broker to prove they actually have the capital reserves to pay out your winning trades.
Oh, right, because if you win big, they actually have to have the cash to hand over.
Exactly. So when you see Exness holding licenses across multiple continents, it's kind of like having multiple health inspectors independently signing off on this massive global restaurant chain. It provides a really heavy institutional layer of trust.
So essentially, to use that analogy, Riverquode is a single local restaurant. But just because there's only one health inspector doesn't mean the kitchen isn't clean.
That is an excellent way to put it, actually, because Riverquode's localized approach through the FSCA comes with a very specific operational mandates. And one of the most important ones is their strict use of segregated client accounts.
Segregated accounts. Okay, break that down for me.
It's a fundamental mechanism of safety. It means that when you deposit your capital into Riverquode, it goes into a bank account that is entirely legally separated from the broker's operational money.
Oh, wow. Meaning if Riverquode has a bad quarter or, they need to pay their server hosting fees or their electric bill.
They physically cannot dip into the trader's funds to keep the lights on. It's completely walled off.
That's huge.
It is. And it proves that even though they are a newer, streamlined platform, the structural integrity of your capital is heavily guarded.
Well, knowing your money isn't being used to buy the CEO a new desk is definitely step one. But I feel like the real friction for most traders isn't the legal framework, right?
It's the day-to-day.
Yeah. It's what happens on a Tuesday morning when the market opens and you actually have to execute a trade. So let's talk about the software, the cockpit versus the dashboard.
Right, the actual point of contact.
Yeah.
Because this is usually where the philosophy of the broker becomes super visible.
And the philosophies here could not be more polarized. So let's look at Exness first. They give you this sprawling, heavy ecosystem of platforms.
It's a lot.
It is. You have MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, their proprietary Exness terminal, the MetaTrader web terminal, mobile versions, and their own trade app. Just a massive suite of software you have to navigate.
Yeah.
Now look at Riverquode. They completely bypass the MetaTrader ecosystem. They don't even offer it.
Which is wild, historically speaking.
Right. Instead, they build a single custom WebTrader platform. You don't download anything, whether you are on a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, a phone. You just open your browser, log in, and you are in the market.
It really is a fascinating divergence. For decades, MetaTrader was the absolute default. It was just assumed that if you didn't offer it, you weren't a serious broker.
So to put this in perspective, Exness is like handing you the keys to a manual transmission sports car, right? With the traction control turned entirely off.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you are a professional, it is incredibly powerful. You can tune every single gear. But if you don't know what you are doing, you will wrap it around a tree before you get out of the driveway.
Oh, absolutely.
And Riverquode, by contrast, is like an automatic, modern electric vehicle. You sit down, push a button, and you drive. Clean, simple, get in and go. But I have to ask, if Exness gives you all those options, isn't more choice inherently better?
You would think so, right?
Yeah, why would anyone actively choose a broker that restricts them to just one browser-based platform?
Because choice requires competence, and unmanaged choice just creates massive technical friction for a lot of people.
Okay, that makes sense.
If we look at why Exness offers MetaTrader 4 and 5, it is specifically to cater to algorithmic traders. MetaTrader allows you to run EA's expert advisors.
Those are the trading bots, right?
Exactly. They are custom-coded scripts, often written in specific programming languages, that execute trades automatically based on these highly complex parameters. So if you're running a bot that trades the Asian session while you're fast asleep in Europe,
you absolutely need that heavy, complex infrastructure.
yes. But think about the psychological barrier that creates for a discretionary trader. Someone who just analyzes a chart with their own eyes and clicks a button to buy or sell.
Right.
For them, downloading legacy software, managing firewall permissions, dealing with these clunky interfaces from the 2000s, configuring server connections, it's exhausting.
Yeah, you're fighting the software before you even fight the market.
Exactly. Riverquode removes the intimidation factor. By putting everything in the browser, they're essentially saying, let's focus on the market, not the IT department.
I love that. Optimizing for clarity over raw, programmable power. But, a clean interface only gets you so far. Once you are actually in the platform, you have to decide what you are trading and under what conditions.
Right, the environment entirely dictates the strategy.
And this is where we see a huge difference in how these brokers structure their accounts and their markets. Customization versus clarity. Exness leans hard into customization.
They really do.
They have standard accounts and then professional accounts that fracture into raw spread, zero, and pro. Plus, they even have social standard and social pro accounts. It's just a massive menu.
And Riverquode.
Riverquode, again, strips this way down. They offer a linear 5-tier system. You've got classic, silver, gold, platinum, and VIP.
And when you look at the actual instruments offered inside those accounts, the theme just continues. What are the specific access numbers there?
Oh, they're wild. Exness essentially hands you the keys to the entire global market. They boast over 100 currency pairs alone.
Wow.
Yeah, we are talking major pairs, minors, and highly obscure exotics. Plus, they throw in metals, crypto, energies, global stocks, commodities, and indices. Riverquode, on the other hand, acts a bit more like an editor. They curate the list down to roughly 160 total instruments.
Which is still plenty.
It is. It's about 45 Forex pairs, 126 global stocks, 10 cryptocurrencies, 12 indices, and 15 commodities and metals. But here's where it gets really interesting. Exness allows social trading, which is basically copying other people's strategies, while Riverquode includes negative balance protection and a demo account across its tiers.
That contrast tells you everything you need to know about the psychology of the trader they're targeting.
How so?
Well, the psychological trap of choice paralysis is very real in trading. A novice trader opening an Exness account might look at that sprawling menu and pick the zero account simply because the word zero sounds cheap.
Oh, for sure. Zero means free, right?
Exactly. But they might completely misunderstand the underlying commission structures. Or they might start trading a highly volatile exotic currency pair like the US dollar against the Mexican peso without realizing how violently those spreads can widen during news events.
So Riverquode is intentionally filtering out the noise.
They are?
They're kind of curating the buffet so a newer trader doesn't accidentally eat something that gives them food poisoning.
That's exactly it. Riverquode's tiered system. And that demo account, it's all built for progression. It gives you a clear roadmap to level up without feeling overwhelmed. And if we look at the specific features they embed, like you mentioned, negative balance protection, that proves they are optimizing for a learning curve.
Yeah, let's unpack negative balance protection, actually, because I think a lot of people assume that if their trade goes to zero, the trade just closes, like, game over, try again.
Right.
But in highly leveraged markets, that isn't always true, is it?
It absolutely is not true. Imagine you're heavily leveraged on a stock, and over the weekend, some massive geopolitical news breaks. When the market opens on Monday, the price gaps downward instantly, blowing right past your stop-loss order.
Or skips right over it.
Yes. And without negative balance protection, your account doesn't just go to zero, it goes deeply into the negative, and you suddenly owe the broker a substantial amount of real money.
That is terrifying.
It is. So negative balance protection is a contractual guarantee that the broker will absorb that catastrophic loss. You can never lose more than your deposited funds.
That is a massive safety net for someone still learning how margin calls work. Now, on the flip side, Exness doesn't focus its marketing on that beginner safety. Instead, they feature social trading.
Which is brilliant for their target demographic. Social trading allows you to literally bind your account to an experienced trader.
So when they execute a trade, my account just mirrors it automatically.
Automatically. Or alternatively, if you are a highly successful trader yourself, you can broadcast your strategies and earn a performance fee from the people copying you. It builds this entire ecosystem of highly active, hyper-engaged professionals.
I see. So Exness really is the coliseum for the pros, and Riverquode is the training ground. But obviously, leveling up comes with a cost, right? You pay for safety and you pay for access. Which brings us to the nuts, bolts, and safety nets, the fees, and the leverage.
Ah, yes. The true cost of trading is almost always hidden in the fine print.
Let's lay out the facts. Exness offers standard accounts with commission-free trading. But on those professional accounts we mentioned, they offer spreads from as low as 0.0 pips, depending on the commission model.
Okay.
Riverquode approaches this entirely differently. Their spreads on the euro-US dollar pair actually scale with their tiers. So You start with a 2.5 pip spread on the beginner classic account, and as you move up the ranks to VIP, it drops down to zero point 0.9 pips.
And the leverage.
Riverquode caps out at 1 to 400 on Forex pairs, whereas Exness offers highly flexible leverage that can be practically limitless depending on your region and local regulatory conditions.
Okay, we need to define what a pip actually means here. Otherwise, these numbers are just floating in the void.
Yeah, please do.
A pip is percentage in point. In Forex trading, it is typically the fourth decimal place in a currency quote. It's the smallest standard measure of how much an exchange rate moves.
Okay.
And the spread is simply the difference between the price you can buy an asset for and the price you can sell it for at that exact second. That gap is how the broker makes their money.
Wait, hold on. Let me play the skeptic here. You're telling me Exness offers a 0 pip spread, meaning there is virtually no gap between the buy and sell price. But Riverquode charges a 2.5 pip spread on their classic account.
Yes.
Why on earth would anyone choose to leave that much money on the table just to use a simpler WebTrader interface? That seems crazy.
Well, what's fascinating here is that the 0 pip spread is actually one of the greatest illusions in retail trading.
Really?
A 0 spread is never actually free. Brokers are businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't facilitate trades for charity.
True.
So if Exness is giving you a 0.0 pip spread, it usually means they're charging you a flat fixed commission on every single trade you make, regardless of whether that trade wins or loses. Let's say it's $7 per round turn trade.
Oh, I get it. So they are giving you the raw wholesale market price, but they are charging you a cover fee at the door just to get in.
Exactly. And if you are an institutional algorithmic trader moving massive position sizes, paying a flat $7 fee to get 0 spread is mathematically brilliant. It makes your entry and exit incredibly precise.
Right.
But if you are sitting at home, trading with a smaller account balance, making multiple small trades a day, those flat commissions will completely eat your account alive.
Ah, which explains Riverquode's 2.5 pips.
Exactly.
They don't charge a flat commission. The fee is just baked directly into that slightly wider sticker price. You start a little bit further in the red when you open the trade, but there are no surprise fees lurking on your monthly statement. It's totally predictable.
Predictability is exactly the word, because calculating commission structures on the fly while managing a volatile trade is mentally taxing. Riverquode's wider, commission-free spread on the classic tier is straightforward. You know exactly what the trade costs the second you click the button.
And having that predictability is so essential when you're just learning the ropes. Speaking of learning the ropes, as you navigate these costs, having a lifeline is critical. So let's look at the final piece of the puzzle, the support system. Education and tools.
The infrastructure keeping the trader informed and operational, this is huge.
The contrast here is incredibly sharp. Riverquode goes heavy on a guided learning experience. Inside their platform, they feature a dedicated knowledge hub. They provide structured courses, ebooks, and strategy guides, plus an economic calendar and trading central tools.
Very focused on building foundational knowledge.
Right, and Exness counters this with a toolkit designed for hard analytical features. They provide an investment calculator, raw tick history, a currency converter, trading central web TV, and crucially, VPS hosting.
It is literally the difference between a university library and a high-tech server room.
Yeah, but I want to focus on that VPS hosting for a second. Why is that considered such a premium tool for Exness users?
Well, VPS stands for Virtual Private Server. If we go back to our algorithmic trader, the person running those automated expert advisors on MetaTrader, they have a massive vulnerability.
Their home internet connection.
Exactly. If their home internet cuts out, or their computer just goes to sleep, their trading bot shuts down. And if the market suddenly crashes while their bot is offline, they can't execute their defensive protocols.
Which means they could lose everything while they're literally staring at a frozen screen.
Precisely. A VPS allows them to rent space on a remote, highly secure server that runs 24/7 with 0 latency. Their bot lives on that server, completely immune to local power outages.
Okay, so for the advanced automated trader, VPS isn't a perk. It is an absolute requirement for survival.
It is.
But what about the human element, the customer service? Exness provides 24/7 multilingual support via phone, live chat, and email, which, let's be honest, you need if your server goes down at 3 in the morning. Riverquode also offers email, live chat, and telephone support, but they highlight this really impressive list of languages: Portuguese, Spanish, German, Thai, Hindi, Malay, French, and Italian. So what does this all mean for the listener? Is raw tick history actually more valuable than a good ebook?
Well, it completely depends on where you are in your journey. If you need 24/7 availability across time zones and rely on VPS hosting for automated trades, Exness is the clear winner.
Without a doubt.
But if you are someone who wants a broker that actively helps you build your knowledge inside a localized environment, Riverquode's educational focus is incredibly attractive. Is access to raw take history valuable? Yes, if you are a programmer backtesting a strategy over 10 years of data.
Right.
But if you are a discretionary trader sitting in Bangkok or Buenos Aires, a massive dump of raw data is useless. What you actually need is a well-structured ebook that breaks down risk management in your native language. Riverquode is removing the barrier of language in the exact same way they removed the barrier of legacy software.
That makes a ton of sense. Okay, we have covered a tremendous amount of ground today. Pulling back the curtain on how these two very different models operate, let's bring it all together for the final verdict.
Let's do it.
Based on the sources we've analyzed, Exness is undeniably the ultimate sandbox for the flexible, advanced trader. If you require the programmable power of MetaTrader, deep account customization, zero-pip commission structures, and international reach, they are built specifically for you.
It is a professional ecosystem, through and through.
Exactly. And Riverquode is the streamlined, browser-based, education-first platform. It is perfect for those who value simplicity, straightforward tier progression, and the strict safety nets of FSCA regulation and negative balance protection.
Two completely different ways to interact with the exact same global markets.
Yep. And as a reminder to you listening, this landscape evolves constantly. Always double-check the latest regulations, the specific withdrawal conditions, and the risk disclosures directly with the broker before you make any moves or allocate any capital in 2026.
Synthesizing all of this really raises an important question.
Oh, what's that?
Well, as brokers violently split their focus between offering hyper-complex professional ecosystems like Exness and highly simplified browser-only experiences like Riverquode, are we seeing the end of the one-size-fits-all trading platform? And as a trader in 2026, which side of that divide do you actually belong on?
Oh, wow. That is the perfect provocative thought to leave you with. Are you looking to strap into the complex cockpit of a high-performance machine with the traction control off, or are you perfectly happy driving a smooth, predictable EV straight into the markets? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Take that question, mull it over, and we will be right here waiting for you for the next exploration.